All right. Welcome, everybody, to the second episode of Game Set Live. I am your host, KY Bob, and this is my co host, Assassin Lupa. And Power Man 4K has had a unfortunate happening. I got a text message a little while ago, and my friend is in the ambulance on his way to the hospital. And we hope he's okay. And our prayers go out with him. Anyway,
Yes, it does.
Yeah, I
we got
think I figured it out, KY, mate. I'm here, brother. Sorry, I'm a little bit late, guys.
that's all right. We're just going through the intros right now. Um, Thankfully, we have my Aussie brother from another mother to help out.
Great to join you again, KY, and great to see you too, Assassin.
And you, Jedi?
And I
Very
do
late
believe
notice,
that
KY, brother. You gave me like half an hour, mate, but I'm happy to be here.
I'm, I'm sorry about that, brother, but I got the text message like a half an hour. I think it was out of. I actually made a bad joke in the text message to Power Man 4K when he told me what was going on. I said, "You didn't do something stupid because you were upset over the over the game delays, did you?"
Oh no.
He was like, "He's like, how dare you?" No, I was like, "No, just kid, just kid." But yeah, I don't know the specifics, but we hope he's okay. And let's get to it. You wouldn't think we'd have a lot to talk about, but we have got a whole lot to talk about tonight. Um, I
Big
think I should
news
start with our
dropping.
guest, Jedi Knight Peter. Brother, who are you? What do you do? And where can people find you?
Yeah, well, I have my own podcast where I'm a panel member on Xbox Infinite when we go live 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time with Risk It for the Biscuit, Eternal Umbra, and we actually have a little bit of surprise. So if you guys want to check in this week, we've got a surprise new panel member. So yeah, that's going to be announced on the show.
Ooh.
Uh, but yeah, look, I'm a long-term Xbox supporter. I've been an Xbox gamer since the OG days, but even going further back than that, I've been gaming since the Super Nintendo, since I've been a kid. So love
Hmm.
gaming, love talk gaming, love giving back to the community, and what you're doing, KY Bob, Assassin, you guys are awesome, and I'm just so happy to be here.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much for answering the call. Now, I'm sure everybody, the news just broke this morning. So I know it's on everybody's top topic list, and happy to be one of the first shows covering it. We find out that Starfield and Redfall have been delayed to the first half of 2023. Wow. I mean, no, nothing led on to there being an issue and not being polished or them having issues with game design or anything like that. We were all even expecting a huge info dump at the June 12th show, and then today they laid the hammer on us. And well, um, all I can say is pre-order those third-party titles, people, because you're going to have something to play. Hopefully, Halo Infinite
Oh,
comes
come
around with
on.
some co-op.
We got massive backlogs. What you on about? It's not the end of the world.
I know, I know. Was not all of us have massive backlogs though.
We do. Come on. I guess mine could be as tall as the Tower of London.
Yeah, but Looper, I mean, I get that. Yes, we've got backlogs. I've got backlogs myself, but I want to play new and great games.
Yeah, and there's a
Xbox
good
has
few coming this year at the end of this year.
Yeah,
No
I get
problem.
it, but Xbox was meant to be Starfield, sorry, was meant to be the start of something special. It was meant to be when, the games started coming to Xbox, those first party games
I'm
that
sorry,
we've
but
all
no,
been
that wasn't the
craving.
case. No, that was not the case. Clearly, Phil said 2021 will be fine. The games were already in development, but 2022 is going to be difficult with everybody working from home and the games being new. It will be difficult. 2022 will be a bum year because of COVID. That was a fact. We all knew
Yeah.
there was going to be a lot of delays this year because they just can't do it so well from home. And it's like, I feel for them. And I would rather have a game that's polished and complete with no bugs than I would have a game that is all buggy and half done and we have to put it all better afterwards. It's, nah,
Yeah,
I'd
look, I
rather
don't
wait.
disagree with any of that. I would rather have a game that is polished and ready to be shown, rather than, you only get one chance to have a first
An
impression.
impact,
So,
yes, sure.
yeah, and you don't want to blow that first impression. I mean, yes, Fallout 76 is in a much better state now, but when that game was first shown, it rightfully got absolutely trashed. It
Hmm.
was terrible.
It was.
And I don't think that the game is successful as it could have been if it showed great in the first instance.
Hmm.
Yes, they have got,
And Cyberpunk's
a
another
health.
example.
Yep, exactly. They've got a healthy amount of people that play Fallout 76, but I think those numbers could have even been doubled,
Oh,
or,
for
or, or
sure.
even more so if it launched, because a lot of people will just try a game, and if they don't like it, they'll walk away and never come back. Like you
And that
said,
was
we've all
me.
got backlogs. Yep,
I
yep,
was looking to try Fallout at that time because I hadn't really been into it. I'd played a bit of, is it the San whatever one, the Lost. I know, I forgot what it was. That other one that
yep,
everybody was
yep.
raving about. I tried a bit of that. I wasn't too keen. I had better things to play. And then I went. I thought when Fallout 76 was coming out, I thought, do you know what? I'll give them another go. And I played that, and I was like, no, no,
Yeah.
no, no, I'm out. And I never gone back. And for me, Bethesda always rang buggy mess that I didn't want to play. And so I just
Buggy
left it.
but fun.
I've never found. I guess I've not played with people with it, but like I've never found it that brilliant. It's just not for me. Other games they made, yeah, I've loved them, but like not that. I can't get into it. It's just too long and boring and
Is that
like
the
to get
Fallout
anywhere.
IP in general, or you
Yeah,
just find that with Fallout 76?
no, with Fallout IP in general.
Well, in Bethesda's defense, I can remember back in the day playing Oblivion, and I kept
Awesome.
coming. Yeah, but when it launched, it did have some bugs.
Yeah, it did.
Um,
Same as The Witcher 3, though. This is what people forget. The
yeah,
Witcher
and we
3
just kept
That's
was
coming
true.
back.
released
Yep.
terrible condition, but they pulled it back, and now it's most people's, well, anybody who's played it's game of the decade.
Master
So
Chief Collection was horrible, and
yeah,
now look at what 343's done with that.
yeah. But I agree with Jedi. In my opinion, a game should release in its best form because first impressions do count. And I think that number for Fallout 76 would have been doubled easily if it was in a good state. Same with Cyberpunk. I didn't
Yep.
play Cyberpunk. I decided I wanted to purchase Valhalla and I wanted to purchase another game ahead of Cyberpunk, and I was going to like wait on until I could pick it up in a sale because I didn't want another big game.
Yep.
I'm glad I did because of what came out about it. And then I said, like dealer, I said I'm waiting for the patch for the X, and that's what I've done. And then I will pick up that game and play it through. But like I already have the game, I just haven't got into it yet. But I
Yep.
think that games like that would have much bigger following. That all the hype that went around it, and that wasn't the devs' fault. That was their bosses pushing it and saying they had to put it out. They had to put it out. They
Yep.
wanted to wait. And as far as I'm concerned, CD Projekt Red will, compensate gamers for any. Like with The Witcher, they gave us the Wild Hunt for free, and they're a really good team. I just wish that gamers are entitled these days. It makes me mad. I remember way, way back when I bought a game free, I had to make it last at least a year, maybe more, because there wasn't anything else to play that was new. Now, everybody's so damn entitled, they think they've got a right to a game when it's like things happen. Things happen in life as they happen in making a game. Things happen that delay stuff and make stuff, you know,
I
not
agree. I
possible.
think the whole industry makes it worse, but because before we didn't have all this access to all this information, the
Mm,
internet and leaks, and we've been
exactly.
long-term gamers, assassins,
Mm,
so we know what it was like just trying to get like a tiny bit of information by reading the official Xbox
yeah,
magazines. You know, like there
that's
wasn't
it.
any of
Yeah.
this internet stuff.
No.
Now we know pretty much every process of the development stage, where they are, and and yes, like we expect too much of these people. You know, they're
Mm,
human. They're trying to get the best game out they possibly
yeah.
can.
Mhm.
It's not like they want to make a bad game. We just have to allow them to do that and not to put too much pressure on them. In saying all that, I think that Bethesda and Todd Howard made a big mistake when they planted their flag so early, saying the game was going to launch
Mm,
on the 11th of the 11th. They should never have done that, especially with all the stuff going on in the background with COVID and all that kind of stuff. How they could have been so confident and about a release date that far
mm.
out. The only thing that that can possibly do is lead to failure. Okay, if
Yeah.
it came out, great,
This is
everyone's
the
fine. But
Yeah,
it
this
doesn't.
is the
It
one
didn't.
thing. This is the one thing, Jedi, that I'm mad with Xbox for. Stop announcing your games so damn early. We don't need it.
Yep.
Stop it. That really, really annoys me. Don't announce a game unless it's 3, 6 months out. That's all I say. I don't care about it being delayed. I don't care about all those problems. At the end of the day, things happen. But to turn around and keep telling us a year, 2 years in advance, this game's coming, this game, then all these gamers, they just keep getting more hyped and hyped and hyped and hyped and hyped, and then they're let down. And that's unforgivable. You need to stop it. Xbox, stop it!
Well, I will say that if this game, because of the delay, if it comes out and it's polished, it's got ray tracing, it has minimal bugs, it's showing mesh shaders, we're using velocity architecture, and it really it wows us all, then this delay will be forgotten and
Hmm.
forgiven. But if they do the same thing that Halo Infinite did and they delay it a whole year and we still don't get co-op, we still get droughts of content, then there will be it'll be bad. It
Mm,
will really be bad for Bethesda.
for sure. I think they said in when they put it out there, I think they said early 2023, so that should be before June next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Let me
said early. For sure they said early. That's what
Yeah,
I believe.
they said early 2023.
Yeah.
I don't know when early means.
Well, it's
But
probably the first quarter, I should think, of 23.
yeah, yeah.
And that'd be good because then it will be put into the Game Awards where it wasn't going to be at 11:11.
Yeah, they just wouldn't have had enough time to fully play that game, would they? I mean,
No.
basically, they have to have everything in, what, a couple of weeks early? How are you
Yeah.
going to judge a game like Skyrim in a week, 2 weeks? It's just
Yeah.
impossible.
yeah.
Exactly. So that's a good thing in that sense that the game will be allowed to be in the Game Awards, I guess, if you're into that sort of thing. I'm not, but some are. So that's a good thing. But like, yeah, I mean, I'm not shilling for Xbox. You know, they've made a mistake, and the mistake they've made is telling people a date, a specific date, which Todd Howard very rarely does, which I find
That's
weird.
so true. Yep,
He
that's
he
so
would never
true. And
even
that's what
announce a
made
game
it so
till
unusual.
yeah,
Yep,
it's like
you're right. Yep.
probably a month before, and then he'll show
Yeah.
some a
If
trailer 2 weeks before it drops, and then it drops.
if you
Very
remember
rarely
when he
does
came out
this.
on stage and he made the Fallout 76 announcement, he did not do that until E3 and the game was coming out 2 months after that.
Exactly. So I don't know what's gone on there. I just think it's a big error. Don't do it because gamers are so entitled these days. They think it's set in stone, and all these issues have happened. And I understand. I'm a real person, and I understand that in this year to this year, so much can go wrong. Look, there's a prime example. Power Man was going to be here, everything was going to be fine, and now he's in hospital. He didn't plan that. He didn't expect that to happen. And, now it's the same with these games. but I know there's a whole plethora of other games that are coming out that I mean, I'm really looking forward to Hogwarts Legacy. That should be out towards the end of the year. Scorn should drop in its place, I should think. You know,
Yep.
there's so many other games I could name that
Well,
I
we've
can't
just got a
think of right
release
now.
date for Dead Space. I
Yeah,
think
Dead
it's
Yes.
Space.
27th of January,
Yeah.
2023. So really looking forward to that.
I mean, there's so many. I think they might well, because we could have seen Avowed last year. So I think Obsidian's going to come through for Xbox, and I think that Avowed is going to be the big show at the event, and therefore, you know,
I hope
it'll all
so.
be forgotten pretty soon. I
Which
mean, people in Twitter, they're just poisonous, and they're just being silly. Like, it's not all doom and gloom. There's games coming. You just got to understand this is two games, Redfall and Starfield. Redfall never thought was going to be ready this year, never. And Starfield, they promised it, but it's failed, and there's their mistake. Don't promise something that's not set in stone.
Yeah.
so do
So
we
I'll ask
think
you something,
either?
KY.
Yeah.
Do you think that the leak that came out just recently from the supposed developer that worked on the game pushed them to this? When he was saying that the flight mechanics aren't great and the game's not that fun? Or do you think that this would have happened regardless?
You know, I thank you so much for bringing that up because I had completely forgot about that leak. I was so focused on the delay and what I was going to do between here and then. But yeah, you may have a point. I mean, they may have taken a step back and said, okay, look, maybe the flight mechanics are a little wonky. And we know that's not really the aim of the game and the experience and whatnot, because it's just transportation between one point and another. But you make a very good point, Peter. It's very possible that, and with it being flight mechanics and animations of the flight and whatnot tied into the controls, they could be, yeah, this could be it. But with that said, do we think either of these games, Redfall or Starfield, are still going to have as much of a presence on June 12th as they would have if this delay had never happened?
Oh, 100%. I just wanted to say to the chat, this was like very last minute, guys. I haven't created an account. I can see you all there. Thank you so much for coming in and joining me. John, TJ, Boba Fett, Risk It Before. I really appreciate you guys supporting us. I only got the invitation half an hour before. I can see you all
Yeah.
there, but I can't answer you.
I can't
So
see.
yeah, this was very last minute. So I do apologize.
Yeah, and we thank Jedi Knight Peter so much for being able on such short notice to come in and help us out, because one of our friends is at the hospital now and he doesn't know yet. So apparently it's not an injury; he knows something. So we're here with you, buddy. Get better. But do you think we'll still see like a large info dump? I mean, obviously, if
100%.
they're gonna,
Nothing from the showcase would have changed from this information. They usually just get rid of bad information, bad, press before the show, so then the showcase can then stand for itself. Whatever was going to be on the show will still be on the show, and I think it'll still be heavily focused on Starfield, and I think the game will still show really, really well.
Lupa's going on in the chat. Better watch out, TJ.
No,
Well,
not him to shut up. He said their message has been told. Well, let's announce the release date. Show no gameplay. They need to show gameplay and explain what stage it is. And I said, or just shut up until it's definite. That's not telling TJ to shut up.
so I think we'll still get the same. If there was going to be any video, any demonstration, then we're still going to get that. But they're going to make it very clear whether or not it's plastered all over the screen that what you're looking at is pre-alpha footage, and it's subject to change. They're going to make that very, very clear so people don't jump on a bandwagon and start saying, oh, it's trash. Do you see how bad the flying was? There's no ray tracing in this game. It's trash. I'm telling you, it's trash.
Can you imagine what would have been said if it had released in a bad state? I mean, it would have been Cyberpunk all over again, and you know, I'm glad it's not released in that state, to be honest. But as I said, you know, they need to stop with these announcements until they've got something solid.
Yeah, I agree. For you, all y'all that are watching us, like, share, subscribe, tell a friend or two. And play Evil Dead tonight at midnight. Yes. Be the Bruce Campbell you always wanted to be. I will be. So it has come to my attention that Sony has given an explanation as to why they don't put their first party games into a subscription service day and date. And they said that in order to do so, they would have to lower the quality of their games. And to me, that is almost a slap in the face to the first party games that go into Game Pass. Because what are they saying? I mean, we got Forza Horizon 5, all that photogrammetry goodness, day and date. We got Halo Infinite, day and date. We're going to get every other first party. So what are they saying? They need to lower their quality. You know, this takes me back to that comment that they made last year when they said, we just want to keep our releases pure. No, you just want to keep charging $70 for a game. But when you've got 30 million subscribers, really, what does it matter? It makes no sense to me. If people are that concerned about getting their games on a service, then, you know, the ones that have collections of physical copies are just going to keep getting physical.
Ooh. Bob? I think we gone off air, mate. Jedi? Anybody there? Everybody seems to have gone, guys. I'm very sorry about this. KY Bob is having internet issues. I hope you're all okay, and hopefully we can get back to it as soon as we can. Um, I don't know what's happened. I can't get in touch with them myself, so I'll just I'll be right back. Hold on a minute. I hope you're all staying, and I'll catch you all soon. So you guys can all still hear me? That's really good. I don't know what's happening. I seem to have lost Bob and Jedi, so I hope you're all doing well. What do you all think about this delay? Come on, let's have some chat in the chat. Palpatine, how's it going? Good to see you, Boba Fett. Really glad you're here. I hope that we can get this sorted soon. I have no information. There's just me.
I am here. I am here. I am here.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Jedi, you're
I
still
am here.
here, really?
Yeah, I
That's
am. I
cool.
am still here. I don't know what happened. I dropped as well. I'm.
Yeah,
Hey, Palpatine. How's everyone? Well, look. I mean, we're basically the start of the show,
yeah,
especially you, mate. So we'll just going.
yeah.
KY will eventually join us.
Hopefully,
Sorry,
yeah.
everyone.
I don't know. I don't know what happened, guys. But let's get on with some. Hey, what do you call a bad berry?
I don't know. What do you call a bad berry?
A blueberry. Sorry, that was
Uh,
silly.
uh,
No, like, so how about we carry on chatting then, Jedi, and see what we can do with this here time. Like, so I think that the delays are really annoying, and but I do think it's to be expected in this day and age, in the way the world is at the moment. What do you think about that, sir?
Yeah, look, I agree. I think people really need to realize that making a game is incredibly difficult, and making a game in a pandemic is even more difficult. Any creative endeavor, you need to be working hand in hand with your co-workers, and that you really can't do that from home. Fixing code, all that kind of stuff. It usually takes a team. It's not done by one person, and then you have to ship, like when you do make any adjustments to your engine, and don't forget they made a big made big adjustments to the creation engine. All of that needs to be then vetted. So basically you've got to send all that information through, and if people are working at home, they're going to have to ship all that information then through, check it, make sure it's all good, and then send it all the way back. That would be incredibly frustrating and a very difficult process. So I will give them some leeway. I think Palpatine said it really good in the chat. It's
Yeah,
disappointing and unexpected by me, but better than releasing it broken. I agree. Like I was saying before, you only have one chance to have a first impression. You want that first impression to be as good as possible, or people just won't come back. So I
there's
agree. It's not the end of the world. Um, yeah, we're just gonna have to wait, guys. I
yeah.
know it's disappointing. I
It
know
is
we want to play this
disappointing, and I
game.
understand. I do
Yeah,
understand that some are disappointed, but like you say, there's worse things going on in the world than a game not being released when they say so. So, in my opinion, it's just one of those things we have to accept as gamers. We've done it for 40 years. We can do it some more.
yeah,
Another game that's been delayed is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order 2, which is been called Survivor. It's been leaked that the name is going to be called Survivor. I
yep,
expected that this year, to be fair, but that's now coming in 2023 also. So
yeah.
another
I never
one,
did
you
expect
know,
that one this year,
I
so I
did.
wasn't. Yeah,
I
I
did because
mean,
I knew
Just kidding here,
it
Bob.
was being. Hello,
oh, we
Bob.
can.
He's
Hey, Bob.
back. There's our guy.
So
We've
can I
tried to
ask you
keep the
guys a
fort down.
question? How do I respond to the chat? How do I? Because I've
I
never
have
used this
YouTube
before.
on. I have YouTube on at the same time as I do the restream, and then
Okay,
I,
I
I
will
go
do
to the
that.
YouTube channel, and I talk to the chat in YouTube channel.
Awesome, awesome, awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
apparently
I
some
Welcome back, Bob.
redneck out here in Kentucky ran into a telephone pole and took my internet out for a second.
oh, he was rushing for his chicken, Bob. No, I do think that these games being delayed, it is sad. I was looking forward to Jedi Fallen Order 2. I do know that it was in production when they'd finished, when one was released. So a lot of people argued with me with that, but I knew for a fact it was, and so I was expecting it this year. It being delayed to next year. Yes, I'm a bit disappointed, but I'm fine with it because we have Hogwarts, we have Avatar should be coming out. The movie's dropping 16th of December, so the game will release maybe a week or on the date, or a week before or so. So I think that's going to be a good game as well by Ubisoft. So it's on their Snowdrop engine, which is really good. So I'm looking forward to that one as well. There's quite a few games still coming out. I don't think we're going to be bereft of games in the holiday.
Yeah,
I
I
think that
agree.
third party will carry Xbox this year, and I
And
think
Game
that by
Pass.
yeah, and Game Pass for sure. And then next year we're all going to be like, whoa, 2022. When was that? It doesn't matter, honestly.
Yeah, Game Pass will save everything. And look, I wouldn't be it wouldn't surprise me is if Xbox picked up a massive third party title at the end of this year just to say sorry for Starfield not coming out. I was talking to the guys from Xbox International and Silent Cypher, and he was suggesting that Gotham Knights could be released day one into Game Pass. Now, I was reluctant to agree with him, but after news like this, I'm more inclined to agree with him. I can see some big third party title being added into Game Pass just to ease the pressure on their first party studios until they can start releasing their games at a constant stream.
Hmm.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I can
Definitely.
see that. Yeah. I think that as well, you've got to people have got to understand, like you were saying, Jedi, to be able to make a game is not a single person thing unless you're an indie dev who's making a game all alone. But the fact that when they're all in an office together and they're all working on their computers and programming, they're all like interacting and saying, hey, look at this, what do you think of this? And they come over and look at each other's screens and they say, well, maybe it should be like this or maybe it should be like that. And they're changing things on the spot. Whereas when they're working from home, it's so much more difficult having to send like screenshots or send videos or ask somebody, maybe they're not there or, it's really difficult. And I think people need to understand that. It's not
So I'll
easy
ask
to make a
Thimba.
game.
Yeah, I'll ask Thimba in the chat. He says it's a great opportunity to make Xbox spend big money on the third party games on Game Pass. So, what game would you like to see drop to take the place of Starfield? What would be your most wanted third party game to come into Game Pass this year?
Hmm. I mean, there's a few for me, but like, what have you got one, Bob? Bob? If we haven't lost him again, have we? We
Bob,
have.
you there, mate?
Yeah, Bob's here. Bob was
All right.
just thinking.
Oh, you were just thinking. Okay.
Um,
I
well, it
think
can't
Avowed
be.
would be a good one.
Avowed would be great. Yes, this is this is
But I
true.
think Scorn is going to be a really good game as well. I think
Yep.
that people
But
don't.
that's
I
already
think
coming
people are
onto Game Pass.
underestimating.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yeah, but I think people are underestimating it. Also, Gotham Knights is coming, isn't it? So.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I would say something like Elden Ring, but I mean, most people have played that game, so that's not really going to live up to it. I want a day one release, so I would, I'll go big. What is maybe a Call of Duty? There's no Call of Duty this year, is there? So I'll go
No.
Gotham Knights then. I'll go Gotham
Yeah.
Knights or a big third party title, something Ubisoft esque, that but we'll see.
I'm going to go with Jedi Knight Peter on this one and say yes, Gotham Knights, because I think there's been a lot of talks between Xbox and WB Games,
Yes.
and that would just make sense for there to be enough of a relationship there for that game among all others to go day and date in Game Pass. That would be amazing. That would kind of make me not worry about the drought of first party games so much.
Yep, yep. I mean, we're
There's
still
also
getting
Summerfield coming.
Warhammer, 40,000 Dark Tide. We're
Yes.
getting Scorn. We are, like just in a couple of days, we're getting Sniper Elite 5, day one, Game Pass. I cannot
Yes.
wait for that game.
Oh, I
You know,
love that game. I love the
yeah,
bullet cam. I
yeah,
love it.
very cool. Yeah, very cool. So we are getting the games. It is a bit light this year, at the end of this year, and it's life for everybody, really. I mean, let's face it, Zelda Breath of the Wild got delayed for
Yeah,
Nintendo, and it's
trust
looking
me,
like God of War is going to get delayed as well.
for
I know there
sure.
hasn't been an announcement, but I mean, I just can't see that game dropping this year. Um, and so, look, we're still getting Deathloop as well. I know that the PlayStation it
Ghostwire?
already dropped on PlayStation. Yeah, we're not going to get Ghostwire till next year, but
No,
it
I
is
know, but
also
like
coming.
maybe
But
it could be an earlier drop because, like you
yeah,
said, because Starfield's not going to be there. Just saying.
yeah, they can't drop it because they have a contractual agreement, and they did say that they were going to stick to it. So Ghostwire won't come out. Microsoft won't breach the contract that Arcane signed with PlayStation. That
Mm.
they have it for a year. They have a year exclusivity, so
I
I
mean,
can't
I would
see that
love to
one
see the
happening.
Harry Potter game, but I don't think we're going to see that because PlayStation has the marketing rights to the Harry Potter game.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah.
So I don't see
it's
that
still
in Game
coming.
Pass.
No, I don't see it in Game Pass, but they only have the marketing rights at the moment. I hope they don't do something stupid like decide to, lock it down to PlayStation only. That would be
No, I
ridiculous.
think it would be that it's too late for that for something like that
Mm.
to happen.
Mm.
Yeah, and it's a very big IP. It's a very big IP.
So let's talk about Gotham Knights. So we got a 14-minute gameplay reveal. I know we have very conflicting opinions. A couple of us like it. One of us thought it was trash. To be honest, the first time I watched it, I didn't know it, but YouTube on my PC had, for some reason, reverted to 480, and I was watching it and I was thinking, this is trash. And then tonight, before I went on, before we had the show, I decided, well, I'm going to watch it again. And that's when I noticed that I didn't have a little HD symbol over the setting symbol at the bottom of the screen. And so I changed it to 4K. And so far, I think it's one of the best Batman games we've seen. Do I think it has that next gen seal of approval? No, not quite, but I definitely don't think it's trash. And Lupa, I know you're going to fight me on it. What'd you think?
It's trash.
Oh, no!
Trash, I tell you, baby, trash. I mean, no, it just didn't look. I mean, they should never have showed it. It's just not looking good at all. I don't know. But 30 FPS now? No, it's 2022, man. We want 60 FPS. Come on, you
Is
gotta
that
be honest.
confirmed that it's going to be 30?
It was 30 in what the gameplay that we saw.
Yes, but yeah, but is that confirmed that it's going to release at 30? Because if it is,
No, well,
that's
not
disgraceful.
nothing's confirmed, is it? Just a
Yeah,
bloody trailer sort of thing, gameplay half hour or whatever. I think it was 40 minutes, but it
yeah.
just looks so bad. I definitely had it in 4K on my OLED TV, not on a laptop or a computer. I was watching it on my OLED because I wanted to see it properly as I would play it, and I didn't even the combat was really, I don't know, it was just not what I was expecting, let's put it that way.
I think the game looked great. I can't wait for it. I love the Arkham series, and I think it's just a continuation of that. I get a little bit of negativity because you're not going to be playing as Batman, and everybody is everybody wants to be Batman. Nobody wants to be Robin. Let's face it. But in saying that, I think they've picked a great protagonist in the Court of Owls. I love that secret society, that dark secret society, pulling the strings in the background. It's very Batman. I think they can do something really, really cool with that. I love the dark, mature tone that they're going for. I think the combat will be fine. I think it will play great. It might not show up great, but I think it will play great. I mean, I think it's like I said, a direct continuation from the Arkham series, and the combat in that is absolutely fantastic. And a lot of games have basically copied that combat style, and there's a reason
Yeah.
for that. It's because it plays absolutely fantastic. And yeah, and like I said, I love that they're sticking to the comic book lore Like everybody looks right. The Gotham feels right. Yes, I think that the city looked a little bit bare. I'll have to say that, especially during the Bat Cycle chase scene. There just wasn't a lot there in a fully realized world. But I'm hoping that's just an old an old version of the game, and then it'll be updated when it's fully launched. Because that was one thing that was a little bit worrying to me. If you're going to go into Gotham, I think that the city needs to be a little bit more vibrant, and a little bit more going on. But from what I've seen, really looking forward to it. Really, really looking forward to it. And one thing I will say is co-op is my favorite way to play a game. I can see Risket in the biscuit with Risket the biscuit in the chat. Thank you, mate, for showing up. I really appreciate it. I cannot wait to play Gotham Knights with you, mate. I really can't. I'm playing as Nightwing, mate, so I've already called it. um, but I wish it was 4-player co-op. I think when it was originally announced, it was meant to be 4-player co-op, and it's another thing that I'm really disappointed about.
Yeah, it was.
I got some comic book trivia for y'all from a man that collected comic books for many years. What is Nightwing's true identity? Anybody
Pass.
know who Nightwing's true identity is?
Yes, he's Arthur Grayson. I think he
Grayson.
is the butler son, I believe.
Well, Nightwing was Dick Grayson, who happened to be the very first Robin.
Oh, okay, yep.
Yes. So, and you play as Nightwing, you'll actually be playing as the original Robin. Just he got cooler when he left Daddy.
Yeah. I just
Oh,
think no.
goodness.
I'm being honest. The way that the gameplay that I saw, I wasn't impressed. But as always with me, I will wait until I play the game to give an honest opinion, because like I can only go by what I saw, and I'm not keen at the moment. But like maybe if I play it with some friends or something, then I'll be fine. I don't know. It might be good. I never ever judge a game until I actually play it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
There you go, Thumber. How about that? He said, I appreciate Assassin Lupa as a star of today's show. Look at the size of the video. I had to switch it up. There you
I
go. Look,
tried to keep it together when
there's
you were
Peter.
gone, Bob. That's for sure.
These drunk rednecks out here, they get a little swerve and they hit things.
Yeah.
Took a few
Um,
seconds to reroute.
Jedi Knight is just a load of green lines. What's going on there?
And look who we
Bears.
got here.
Why is
You're
Risky
talking
keep
about bears.
attacking the Brits? Huh?
What? What are
What's
you
this?
talking
What's
about,
his
Bears, mate?
problem?
I have no idea what you're talking about. G'day, Risket.
You said the city had no bears. What do you mean?
Oh, it was bear. There was nothing in it, mate.
At first, Risket said, "You bloody Brits." I don't know.
No, I don't know.
The
Wrong
British.
podcast to come on if you're going to start attacking the Brits.
Bloody Brits.
Oh goodness.
There's nothing wrong with us that's not wrong with you, buddy. You came from
So-
our loins, don't forget.
Yeah, but we perfected it.
Yeah, but
We
we're
just
all the
perfected
good
whatever
parts
you were
of
doing.
you. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
you think so.
yeah.
I know there were good
That's not
parts.
the case. There
So,
was me
Risket,
being friendly,
we
saying
haven't
good
got your
day in the
opinion,
chat,
mate.
and I get told off. I'm not allowed to use it.
Massive news today of the Starfield delay, brother. And I really want to get your take on it.
Yeah, so Xbox has got no games. Hail PlayStation. Jim Ryan, the Overlord, is my master. Switch.
Wow.
The Switch releases us that quickly, mate. Wow.
I am no longer an export. I am a pony. Yeah, well, it's disappointing. I can't say that. I don't know. I'm still processing it. Like, look, here's my thing that I was thinking about this whole thing. Chips. Here's my thing. It's really poor timing. I don't know who was behind that decision. Aaron Greenberg, if he made that decision, that's absolutely terrible. You don't announce the show. This is why I was so certain it wasn't going to get delayed and Redfall wasn't going to get delayed, because you don't announce a showcase and then follow that up with bad news. You just suck all the excitement out of the air. And that's exactly what's happened. Everyone's like, no one's talking about the showcase. Everyone's talking about Bethesda and their bullshit delays. Look, they're not bullshit delays. Look, if you need to delay a game, I completely agree with Dealer. Dealer was saying last night in Discord that, it sucks, but if they need to delay it to put out a game that's not buggy, that's completed, that's polished, then so be it. But it does.
Oh, I get
really
that he's the real deal, but like I just said that, risk it. The last half hour I've said that.
Oh, right, yeah. Well, yeah, look,
he wasn't here. Yeah, he wasn't here.
He was in the chat, dude.
No, I was dropping my kid off at daycare. Sorry, I'm late, guys.
I'm just messing.
But yeah, look, I agree with you, Looper. 110%. Yeah, it sucks. It really sucks.
We would rather a completed game, right? Than a game that's broken. So
absolutely.
It happens, and you can bet your bottom dollar that Phil got that phone call and went, "Oh my god!" and had a breakdown.
It shows Xbox's heavily reliance on Bethesda, basically for the last couple of years, and it is a little bit worrisome. In saying that Bethesda run their own team, I'm sure Todd would have called Phil and said, "Look, mate, I don't think we're going to make the date," and I think Phil would have done everything to help him make that date without, overstepping their bounds like they do want them to remain as quite separate entities. Todd basically gets to control everything that's going on at there, under his own banner. But at the end of the day, like you said, Looper, it needs to be a good game. How it shows is incredibly important, and I would rather them be finished than get, the Halo thing, or the Cyberpunk thing.
Yeah, it's like I said earlier. If this game comes out and it's beautiful and it's a masterpiece, then nobody will ever talk about the delay.
No.
And what the hell are drop bears? Somebody school me.
Drop bears are incredibly dangerous creatures in Australia. Basically, whenever you're out in the bush, you need to look up because they will just drop down on you and tear your face off, mate.
Oh.
Yeah, they're pretty evil.
Evil. Yeah, look though, I just the timing of that, they would have known like a month, 2 months ago. Surely they would have known, and they could have gone, all right, well let's let everyone know this. That we're not releasing Redfall. We're not releasing Starfield.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
I'm not sure. No, I'm not sure about that. I think you will find that they will probably had that meeting where they showed that they were having dinner and everything with Aaron Greenberg and that, and then Phil went over there. And I think that you'll find that they have these meetings, say every month or two, where they will get together and put on the table what's happening, and I think that's when they probably found out.
The tweet that you put out on that very same thing, Risket, that you give your left nut to be there.
That one.
That meeting, I think, is when it got when
because they probably were still trying to do it, and then they realised after a couple of days, actually, we're not going to do this. We need to front up. Basically.
Yeah, well, look, and someone asked me why I would give my left nut. This is exactly why. Imagine if I had the scoop on this. What a champion. Unfortunately, I didn't have the scoop. I've got all my lights on, with a little Xbox light in the background. How exciting. And I haven't even woken up. I just dragged my ass out of bed, dropped my kid off, and then had a shower. I didn't even have a shower. So
there you go.
What's up? I believe. I'm dedicated.
You ain't ever getting me on camera.
It just sucks. It really sucks, man. I just I mean, and there's a lot of people out there that are going to be upset about this because of the ponies are going to get us. I mean, there's a lot of private chats I'm in. I'm already getting the ponies. I don't give a shit about the ponies. I don't care. I just want to play the game. I wasn't that overly excited, to be honest, for Starfield. I think I've said it a few times. Like, then Bethesda games are not really up my alley, but I was hoping it was going to be. But Redfall, I was like, this sounds cool. Like, let's check it out. But,
I was hoping for Halloween this year because it's definitely a Halloween game. And if we're not getting it for Halloween this year, I'm pretty sure we're going to get it for Halloween next year because it's definitely a Halloween-y game, isn't it? Timber has a question in the chat. He says, okay, what if Xbox delayed Redfall and Starfield because they have games to replace it, ready to be released that will be shown in the showcase? What do you think, guys?
Well, that'd go
I
to my
wish-
my theory
I
of a
wish that's
shadow
the
drop.
case.
Yeah.
I did have a theory that they were going to shadow drop Redfall, but now that thanks Bethesda for making me look like a dick.
No, I think they'll shadow drop.
I should have taken that $20 bet, mate.
Well, Xbox hasn't proven yet that they're very good at keeping things under wraps, and I can't think of anything that could take its place that we don't know about or that we don't know is as close to release as it really is. So I can't think, other than them sticking a smash third-party game in Game Pass day and date to make up for this fall, I don't see anything. I don't.
Oh, I do. I think with 35 odd studios and about 40 odd teams within those studios, I actually think there's an awful lot of IPs we don't know about. We have no clue about, and I think that they could drop any one of them at any time on us. I actually think that's a fact. There's no way they can have all those studios having no games at all in, ready to go. So I think there are some games there ready to go we have no clue about. I do think they'll probably shadow drop Motorsport, or what was that other game that was Plague's Tale Requiem. I'm really looking forward to that game. That's supposed to be June the 16th. I can see it coming 4 days
Very
earlier,
close.
dropping on
Yeah.
the June the 12th.
Yeah,
This is my
very close.
That's my
Yeah.
absolute dead set. Is Plague's Tale Requiem.
Did
Straight into-
Xbox
so.
acquire that studio?
Sorry?
I think they should, Asobo. I mean, they work
Yeah.
on
I'd love
both.
to.
They have exclusivity for or Game Pass for both Plague's Tale, and they've done an amazing job with it.
I mean, Asobo's been doing Flight Simulator for the last 30 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And Plague's Tale was such an awesome game from such a small sort of indie type dev way back then. I mean, what they did with that game being so small was astounding. Awesome game. Cannot wait for Requiem.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's so rare to see a narrative-driven stealth game these days.
Yeah.
It was just incredibly well done.
Yeah, horrific,
using
terrible
the
game.
rats
Hated
as
it.
well.
They should never make another one. To be honest, I think it was just absolute crap.
You what?
I know I pushed you to play that game.
that
you
was-
didn't quite enjoy it as much as I did, but I loved it, mate.
It's not
That
like
was
you
good, I
got
just
pushed to
recall
play
that.
Final Fantasy or anything.
The combat sucked. But the game
In
was good.
what?
The combat was a bit rough. I think if they tidy up the combat, which I think they will, because obviously Microsoft has definitely thrown some cash at Asobo, then I think it'll be a really, really good game. I think it was a good game. I
About
don't know.
Plague's Tale?
Just a lot of whinging Brits in it, and it just, I don't know. Well, they weren't Brits.
Are
they
you
were French.
talking about Plague's Tale?
Yeah.
Right. Well, if you'd watched the trailer or the gameplay that they showed, they have changed up the combat.
Ah,
I do believe we now get I think it was a bow.
Yeah, they're not Brits
Uh,
anymore; they're French.
oh right, yeah.
And it
Even
was
worse.
they were French for a start, not Britons. And I mean, Plague's Tale was an awesome game. If you played it through, the story was absolutely amazing. I loved the gameplay. I loved the way it worked, and using the rats was really an imaginative, awesome move. And I think it was just really fun. And so Plague's Tale Requiem, they have changed up the combat. It looks really good. I cannot wait to play it. So sad you're losing out, Risk It. What a shame.
Oh no, I'll be playing it. Of course, it's on Game Pass. I actually cancelled my Game Pass subscription as soon as they delayed Bethesda, and I recommend everyone do the same.
Oh, for goodness sake, that's a bit far.
Definitely. I wouldn't do that. I get it for free anyway through Microsoft
I
Rewards.
do.
Thanks, Microsoft.
Me too. Never paid for Game Pass Ultimate ever. And I get about 220,000 points come a year. So I use 140,000 for a year's worth of Game Pass, and the rest goes on games. Awesome job.
Hello.
Oh, we got to talk after the show. We definitely got to talk after the show about how
Hello?
you get 200 and what? 220?
About 220 a year. I've got like, I've still got probably 6 months of this year to go, and I've already got the 140,000 that I
Oh.
need for the actual Game Pass Ultimate for the year.
That's a real gamer right there.
There.
Just buy games, watch movies if you want to, but I don't. I just do all of the things on Bing, and then I do all on the computer, and then I do all the things on Edge and on the mobile, and bing bang bosh, and my quest done.
Do they not do the bonus points anymore for doing searches for what they tell you to search for on Bing? Because I haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah,
they do that. Yeah. You
You
guys get more than us. America actually gets more points than us.
Yeah,
I don't know if you bloody
They do. They get more than us, to be fair, in Britain. So they certainly do.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's not like you guys deserve it or anything.
Jedi Knight Peter, can you hear us?
The same across.
Yeah, I'm back, mate. I didn't know if you could hear me, but so I just reloaded the process. I was going to say that there are a couple of games that Microsoft worked on, working on Hellblade and Plague Tale. The combat wasn't great, but I think they're really focusing on that for both those games. And I think the second editions of those games, because they did come from small teams, will hit a lot better. And I'm really looking forward to both of them. And I agree with Assassin Looper. I think that if any game's going to be shadow dropped, it will be it'll be Plague Tale. Like you said, only 4 days difference.
Yeah,
so
and also it's going straight into Game Pass anyway. So
exactly, yeah.
It seems like a dead cert to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what about Hellblade? You mentioned Hellblade. Can we talk about that? Do we think that that's going to happen? Do you think that's this year?
They've been quiet for a little bit, haven't they?
Yeah, I think it might replace Starfield.
We might see Project Mara. I think that they're gonna. I think that they're gonna leave Hellblade alone for a little bit, and because look, Unreal Engine 5 and everything behind that, it's just really they're just working it out, and we know that they want to be it to be really impactful when they show that game. They want it to be a graphical masterpiece. So I think they need a little bit more time for that. But I think we'll see Project Mara.
Mm-hmm. Well, I hope you're wrong.
Yeah, it's not something I'm looking forward to. I hate those types of games. I'm not into them at all. What was that other one that was it PlayStation or one of them dropped and like it was that. Oh, it was on Microsoft. Oh, what was it called? Where you were getting chased by a monster and you had to hide from it and stuff. And then when you went through a little alleyway, you got jumped on by this monster and you just couldn't get away from it.
I don't know, real life LA?
Gave up. No, it was it was it was a woman, and you did the talking thing, and you had to find the bits and pieces. Oh
yeah, I know the one with the one with the eyes. The one with the eyes. She's got hair.
Yeah,
and she's about this tall, this tallish.
She's a bit of a midget.
She's got teeth.
No, well, you had to go through all these rooms, and you had to find out what happened, and there was this monster, and God, it wasn't long ago, but I just can't bring the name of it to mind. It's so annoying.
While you're thinking of that, Boba Fett brings up a good topic. Are we going to see Ragnarok follow same suit to the other first-party games as far as being delayed?
Yeah, it's going to be delayed. 110%.
Yep.
This gives Sony the opening they need to delay it, which they think they were already going to do. They had Corey Barlog come out and look, you can call that what you want, but it was damage control. I mean, if you're talking that you don't have anything to show 6 months out from the game's supposed release, then it's not coming out this year.
I agree. And
I've literally been wrong every time, though, about every prediction, by the way, so don't listen to anything I say.
No, I think you're absolutely right. This Starfield announcement really does give them that opportunity
to say, PS4 we're going to Pro is waiting on Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Is that PlayStation 1 not coming out?
Ragnarok?
No.
Ragnarok?
No.
I don't know what he's talking about. Forspoken. Talking about Forspoken?
No.
Returnal co-op?
Like Returnal, but it's gone from my head. Well, I don't know why I speak honestly.
Chat, help Lupa out.
What is it?
Replaced.
Replaced is not
Yeah.
PlayStation game. It's
That's
also
Xbox.
No, I mean it's an Xbox game. It's another one that's coming the end of this year.
Mhm.
So that
Replaced, I think, will come. Yeah, small
Yeah.
indie game. But I mean, look, indie games are great, but we want
Somerville,
to use the
that's another
power
one.
of the console. We've all got Series X's. We want to see what they can do. I think Starfield was going to be the first one of those games that really showed the power that Microsoft have learned from their past mistakes.
I think
Yeah,
Motorsport's going to do that.
yeah,
for
that's
sure.
true. That's true. Well, that also brings up another topic. Do you think that Motorsport being on the Xbox One, if it is going to be on the Xbox One, makes it, any less exciting?
No.
No,
M-
because it's two
One
different
thing, one
setups.
one thing that Microsoft has in Playground, one thing they have shown with the Forza titles is the scalability options that they can take advantage of. And I see it.
Yeah, I get that in terms of graphics, KY, but they were talking a lot about
Physics.
the physics, and the physics
Mhm.
don't scale. The CPU is incredibly different. That's one of the greatest things about the Series X. And physics don't scale.
Yeah, if
Well,
you
we
had a
had a
look at
lot
any
of
of those
physics in 7,
if you have a look at
right?
those dev diaries, man, have a look at the dev diaries and what they were doing with tire physics is absolutely out of control. Like I don't motorsport's not my thing, but watching the physics and how they were using that engine, if they could transfer that to Fable, that would be awesome as well. Because this whole ragdoll physics we've had throughout, from the beginning of the one generation or middle of that 360 generation up till now, is getting a bit old. If they could get a little bit more precise with their physics throughout the games, throughout both consoles, that would be awesome. I think that's the next step for our next gen. I don't think it's graphics. I mean, we've already got 4K. We've already got 120 frames per second on consoles. I mean, if they can make that happen together, ray tracing, who cares? But physics, if they start really working on the physics, I think that's where we're going to see the power of Xbox One, Series X. One.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Thimba pointed out Replaced and Somerville. Both those games we put this on your radar on Xbox Infinite. So yeah, I think they're going to be great games, indie titles. But I do want to see something using the power of the X. So yeah, I get that these games are coming, Thimba. I just want to see the console pushed to what they have been promising.
I think that the consoles will come into their own, but not yet because of, again, COVID slowing everything down. So I do think that we will see next gen. I mean, they've dropped the old gen for Gotham Knights, which I think was a clever move. If you can't make two types of the same game, then better to drop the old gen and just move on with this gen.
To be honest with you, COVID's really not an excuse anymore in the States. I don't know how it is in Australia or in the UK, but
In the UK, it's not supposed to be, but that's bullshit. Because at the end of the day, it's there. It's never going away. We have to live like this forever now. It's there in the ecosystem, and it's not going away. And all of a sudden, you're going to get hit by it just because you haven't got anybody in your circle that's hit by it. There's still people dying of it, and it's still an issue if you're in a crowded place. In my opinion, everybody who's got any sense should be wearing a mask outside, or should be, wearing gloves and not risking going into big crowds, because it's going to flare up again and again and again. It can't go away, so it's the way of life from now on.
I've got a permanent mask attached to my face, so that
Yeah.
pretty much covers it. So
Anybody who's got
breathe
any
through it.
sense will, because you don't want to die from it. I mean, you don't want to get sick,
Oh,
period.
it's
You know what I mean?
endemic, Alupa. I agree with you on that point. But to say that you've got to continue to wear a mask, I think is I don't know about that, mate.
Yeah, it is.
It's not as dangerous as it once was, especially since Omicron. It's not the Delta variant of it. I don't really want to talk about. Each to their own. If you want to wear a mask, then and if you think that makes you
Oh
feel
yeah,
more
I'm not
safe,
saying you have to. I'm just
then
saying that I
go
don't
for
go
it.
out, so it doesn't bother me. I don't go outside the front
so
door.
I think it's
I don't give a
time that
shit. What I'm saying is people need to understand it is still a thing. And Phil Spencer did say that 2021, the games are already made. They're right there. 2022 was going to be a difficult year because of the way that they had to leave and work from home and stuff like that. It delays games. It's a fact.
Yeah,
That's
it's
true.
not so much causing a problem now, but it definitely caused a problem during the development cycle of these games where they pretty much lost a full year, and that's going to push any game back.
Absolutely.
This
brings us to a
Risket,
portion of our show that we like to do where we talk about our favorite game of the week. What has everybody been playing that they just haven't been able to put down this week?
Trek to Yomi.
Well,
love it.
Yeah,
absolutely love that
game.
game.
Last week, so that was last week's game of the week.
I didn't play it till this week, mate.
No, but this week was last week was Trek to Yomi from me. This week was Grounded because of the new update. Just
all right, yeah, I saw you playing that.
It's the second best update Grounded have done. It's still in early access, so things will go wrong. But
I will tell you this, Risk It. I hadn't played Grounded a whole lot since we're talking just a few months after it first hit game preview, and me and Dealer Gaming hopped in there last night with Assassin Lupa, and I'm looking around and I didn't know what to do. I was like, what the hell? Where did all this come from? When did they do this? I'm lost. So
it is so much better than when
I need to start over. That's the only way to do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Look, I've never touched it, but I've been playing this week. I played. I've been playing a lot actually. I've been getting through a lot. But Trek to Yumi and Alan Wake. I'm still kicking through Alan Wake's the definitive edition, which I've never played. That is really cool. It's a really cool game. I'm really enjoying it. I've had a few moments where I've had nearly jumped out of my seat because the missus will come in and tap me on the shoulder. Whoa, Jesus! So yeah, that's been fun.
I had the same thing happen to me when I was playing Visage.
Yeah, but the pebble turrets are good, but they do need to up the damage. They do a little bit, I think. I don't think they do enough damage, and because you have to sit in them and use the turrets, I think that you're taken away from trying to hit all of the bugs all of the time. But yeah, it's just awesome. The turrets, you got the pollen turrets that bring down the flying bugs like the mosquitoes. Awesome things. Awesome things in the game. That's so annoying.
Is it as good as Bug Snacks though?
Oh, it's better than Bug Snacks. Bug Snacks is child play compared. It's like watching a children's cartoon compared to like what's that thing you all watch?
An older children's cartoon.
Another children's cartoon.
That thing you all watch with the little. Oh my God, Simpsons.
Yeah.
So
what do you mean we all watch? That was you're years behind. Now we're all watching. What are we watching, guys?
I'm not watching it. I would never watch it. It's vile rubbish.
I'm still watching South Park.
I actually played Grounded on the day it came out. I was playing a lot of Ark around that time, and I thought that this could be the new Ark. I love co-oping with friends, and it just seemed like a great world to get into. I loved Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I remember I watched that in the cinema when I was a kid.
That's a great movie.
So, yeah, it is. It's a great movie, and you just and this game basically takes you into that world. Really, really
the real
cool.
Deal's in the house, baby.
Shout out to Dealer in the house.
There just wasn't enough content in it, and so I said that I was going to put the game down, put it aside for a little bit, and just wait for the full game to drop before I got back into it. But from what I did play of Grounded, it's incredible fun. It has the bones there to be a really great game, and boy, those spiders are terrifying.
Oh yeah, it is Dealer. Sorry, just had to do that.
I don't have a problem with spiders, but the first time I ran into an orb weaver, it was kind of shocking. I could see why they had an option there for people with arachnophobia to actually turn them into what looked like mothballs. And
G'day, Panda. G'day, Dealer.
It's pretty bad.
I got told about another game by Mr. Joanna Dark. He said it's really good. It's called Citizen Sleeper. He's recommended that to me. So I don't know if you guys have tried that out, but that could be my game of the week next week.
That's in Game Pass. It just came in, didn't it?
Yeah, it just came in. Yep.
Well, Bob is going to be up late tonight because at midnight, The Evil Dead drops.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
you got that, Pete, didn't you?
I
You
was
want a copy of that?
very lucky to win a copy on Xbox International's podcast. Shout out to Silent Cypher, Sour Blow. Yeah, thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate it. I was lucky enough to win a copy. And Crazy Louie Gaming, of course. So yeah, incredibly excited to play that game, and incredibly lucky and thankful that they had that on their
Did
show,
you
Xbox
did you
International.
just did you hide in the chat and not tell anyone that you won it and just act like a total dick?
Yeah, I find that so
No, I
rude.
actually
Yeah.
said thank you immediately. I actually said it 3 times. I was so thankful. I really didn't expect to win. I was actually just reminding everybody that they had a promotion going. I wasn't actually entering the thing myself, but because I put the hashtag in, they entered me into the competition. So yeah, I was incredibly lucky, and incredibly thankful.
Yeah. Well, it's good to see an Aussie getting something because we don't get the Xbox fridge. We basically get nothing over here. And
I
if you're in
got the
WA, like
fridge.
we got nothing. We get
I
And
nothing.
got the
They don't
fridge.
care
It's
about
so
us.
good.
no, Panda in the chat. No, Bug Snacks is not game of the year now that Starfield's been delayed. No.
No, we
No.
don't want those wiener hands in my Xbox. I do
Yeah,
not want.
wiener fingers.
I tried it. I have to admit, dealer gave me bollocks for it, but I did try it because I was intrigued by the wiener hands. And
Oh.
I'm sorry to say, it's as
Why
bad as
wouldn't
I
you be
thought it
interested?
would be.
Well, Panda just said it's game of the year, so
No.
Well, I turned it on for about
I
30
think
seconds and went,
he's
nope.
like,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like, I just thought it was too childish and it was just, I could
well,
have
I'm
whizzed
sure she
through
wasn't
it.
being sarcastic, Looper. Positive.
No, she was. Well, she's got a face. So,
What do you mean the Xbox fridge is coming to New Zealand in September? Is it coming to Australia?
If the Kiwis get it before we get it, risk it, mate. I'm not going to be happy.
No, he's gonna be
Oh.
so mad.
Wow.
Get mad
The
now.
poor Aussies.
That's not, well, I literally did a video about how the Xbox fridge is not coming to Australia and how crap that was. Yeah.
So-
I think that everybody should get. It's like all these smaller countries, well, big countries like not third world type countries don't get connection, don't get the ability to play on the X and stuff. I just think it's sad, and that everybody should get everything all the time.
I agree. Have we talked about DRM? That you brought up a good point.
Yeah.
Have you-
So
have you-
talking to, as Lupa says, everybody should get everything. How far across the world did the Xbox service outages get this past weekend? Did y'all experience that in Australia?
It affected me. I know it didn't affect Pete, but I had issues for about an hour. But then I just did a reboot and it was all good.
Yeah.
But
What
my
about you,
Xbox
Lupa?
is my home Xbox, but it still didn't work. So I mean, look, I was online, obviously battling with the ponies for a little bit. But in the honest facts of the matter is, all that's just bullshit and jokes. But the fact of the matter is, DRM's like egregious. They need to do something about it. It's not acceptable. And yeah, it didn't work with my home Xbox. My Xbox is set to home, and it still wasn't working. So, Lupa, did you? Oh, sorry.
I tried it on the Friday night after the podcast, and it was like couldn't play any of my games, so went offline, played a couple of games offline, and removed my Ethernet. Like away I went, no problem with my games that I owned, and then I jumped back on after about 30 minutes. It was still not working, so I hard reset my box and away I went, and I've not had a problem since. So for about 30 minutes Friday night was the only issue.
So whenever I had an issue
absolutely
with
no
it,
issues.
no issues at all.
No issues at all. I was actually playing Halo all the way through it. Absolutely no issues.
Eternal Shadow said that as well. He played Halo all the way through, and he had no problem.
Well, that first night that there was an issue, I played Halo all the way through it, and Droid Who kept trying to join my lobby, and every time he started up Halo Infinite, it told him that the person that bought this game had to be logged in, and he's like, "Why the hell should you have to be logged in for a free game?" And I didn't have any issues that first night, but the second night, I had some issues, but all I had to do was go into my storage and clear local save data, and I never had an issue after that. So I don't know if it's just something sticking around at the system level or what.
Yeah, look, I don't really know how digital rights management works like fully. I know that every console has it. I know that PlayStation has it, and that Nintendo has it, and you need to, basically have a handshake with the server to prove that the game's like. I don't understand why it needs to be there anymore. I think you could have DRM with the console, but not with the games, because the issue was back in the 90s. Like, I mean, I'm sure we all did this.
Yeah.
You could take your console in and have like hundreds of games dropped on it, and just jailbreak your console, and then you had hundreds of games. And there was a point at which you didn't really play online, but as soon as online play came in, if that DRM recognized that your console had been jailbreaked, that thing was bricked immediately, and you couldn't use it. So I don't see why they can't just DRM the console, and obviously, and have the games with the license in the disc or on the disc if you buy a physical, or when you download the digital, that license comes with it, and then your Xbox recognizes that, hey, this is a legit game. I don't really know how it works.
Do you guys know how long you get that handshake for? Like how often they have to do it?
No.
He'd check.
No.
Yeah,
I've seen
I don't know either,
speculations that
but-
say 30 days for Game Pass or something, but
Okay,
I'm
well,
not
if
sure.
it's 30-day KY, then why, when I load up my game, can't I then get into it if it's a problem on their end? Shouldn't they allow... Look, if it's a problem on their end, shouldn't they allow a grace period? If you own the game, that grace period should then automatically be attached. And if somebody that doesn't own the game gets to play it for that 3-day period or 2-day period or however long you want to have it, then so be it. Because if you own the game, you should be able to play it. That's the way I feel.
I mean,
Yeah,
I agree with you
think
completely.
it's digital. Like, a lot of people don't know that if you disconnect your internet, you can play all your games, no problem. It's that simple. Just disconnect your internet and play. A lot of people didn't know that, and they were all like, "Oh, I can't play my games, or I can't access my Xbox. My life is over." It's like, yeah, well, do something else then. But I get the fact that it was a mistake, but it wasn't out for a month like PlayStation, right? So.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, look, I got absolutely slammed. I think Gaz had to go at me on, what was he on? He was on XNC, because I did post, it went viral. I mean, it wasn't my intention, but I was like, hey, just everyone, let's remember that, PlayStation went down for a month because of DRM, and PlayStation has it, was kind of my intention. And I got accused of a lot of whataboutism. So I think it's just, yeah, look, absolutely, it is whataboutism, but every console has it. I just think I can't find the article at the moment, but I read an article earlier in the week that was saying that the DRM on Xbox is actually a hell of a lot longer and more frequent than any other console. Or I don't know, it didn't say any other console, but it alluded to that fact. So look, surely there's something that can be done. But at the end of the day, with DRM, there's a heap of other things I would rather that they fix first. Like, I would rather they get DVRs so that when people post their games on their game clips online, they look good. That brings people in for Xbox, and I like to see other people's game clips not looking washed out and shit. Like, I would like to see them. There's an article. It's probably throwing ourselves under the bus here, Pete, because it's one of our topics. But there's an article the other day about how there's a patent for Xbox being able to transfer your physical games. So if you have, say, an Xbox Series X, you buy a physical, and then you want to transfer it to your Series S, there's an article saying that they have a patent for that, and that it looks like they may be bringing it in soon. So I'd like to see that, because I've got a lot of physical games on my X that I can't play on my S because I would have to buy them digitally, right? So there's a lot of things I'd like to see them fix first. When the system goes down, DRM sucks, but
they've been doing that on PC for the longest time with virtual drives, being able to just save a disk image to your hard drive, and it's redirected there when it goes to look for a disk. I mean,
yeah, exactly. Why can't they do it? I don't get it. And then why? And and I'd like to see them make sorry about the language, but digital games cheaper. Like, why are digital games like often more expensive than physical? That doesn't make any sense.
No, because they haven't got to make the box, they haven't got to make the manual, they haven't got to do all
No,
that.
that's what I'm saying. But like,
there's no
digital games are more
shipping, no
expensive.
storage, just
Yeah, like it doesn't make any sense as to why digital games would cost more than a physical one.
To be fair, they used to, like, long time ago, they were expensive to buy a game, but like, you know, it's not really moved much. I think it's okay what we pay. I'm not paying the extra £10 PlayStation want to charge you, but like, no, I mean, I think they're okay. I think that in relation to how, like, if you can get 850 hours plus out of Odyssey, then you know it was worth my 70 quid. I just don't see that it's extortionate to buy a game. But I do think that it's weird that they're the same price as a physical game, but that's how they make their money.
The worst thing about it, Assassin, is it's actually more expensive, especially when a game first comes out, to buy it digitally, because bricks and mortar stores will actually have specials a lot of the time. I know in Australia you can generally get your game for about $80 at a bricks and mortar store, where it's $100 digitally. That is ridiculous. And I mean, it's an argument that we've been having for so long. I don't understand why the people that buy digital have to subsidize the price of shipping discs and printing discs and printing booklets that come with it. It's not right. It should be the other way around.
Yeah, I mean, I until recently they didn't even equate into the cost the change in monetary, like from US dollars to English pounds. Like if you paid, like if KY Bob paid $60, I paid £60, and it was like, what the frick? Where's the rate? Where's the exchange rate? Come on.
I mean, they do it over here.
They've just started now, though. Like about, I don't know, probably 6 months ago. But up till then, no, we played. If it was $60 in America, it was 60 quid in England for sure.
I mean, Horizon Forbidden West, when it came out, was $130 physical. You could get it cheaper, but like the actual recommended retail price was 130 Australian. That's like,
and the same thing with Demon Souls, mate. Yep, $125 recommended retail price. Absolutely disgraceful. Yep.
Especially for a mid game that's not that good.
I mean,
you know? They got
most
absolutely
base games
smashed by
over
Elden Ring.
here. Most base games over here are like 60-ish, 60, and then like obviously if you wanted the better versions like the Ultimates or whatever, the gold editions, then they would be more, obviously.
Oh, well, that's what we're talking. You're talking about Gotham Knights before, were you? Gotham Knights Ultimate Edition in Australia is $500. 500. It's almost as much as the console. It's like, what?
See, there's a strat for that as well. Buy the base game and then buy the season pass separate, where you can get it cheaper. That's what I always think to do.
Now, I noticed something today on my Xbox. I had a system update, and after I did the system update, I don't know, it's probably related because of the issues they had with the DRM over the weekend. But one of the, you know how after you visit the store and whatnot, you get a store update and blah, 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 and just all kinds of things in your queue for the small little apps that are running in the background on your Xbox. Well, one of them I noticed today after the fresh system update was something called the Xbox Purchasing Host. Got an update. I don't know if that is something new or whether it was an update to something that was already existing, or maybe there were changes made to the host that keeps track of your DRMs in your console. Maybe there was an issue with it and they rectified it. I have no idea. Got that update about an hour before we went live. Maybe they're making changes for the positive.
Yeah.
I can only hope.
I always think it's weird that Xbox goes down with this sort of thing, a weekend or a holiday. It's always the same. It's like this one guy holds it all together, and when he goes on holiday or has a weekend off, it all goes to shit. It cracks me up.
I would hope the $1 trillion company doesn't duct tape their stuff together that badly. And I doubt the update would have had anything to do with the DRM. I mean, I don't think that they can put together software updates that quick. These things are vetted pretty heavily in the background. I think I want to shout out to Xbox Obi. He had a really good poll that's had about 650 votes so far on Twitter, and he said, "What affects you more, the Starfield delay, or which one was worse, Starfield delay or the Halo delay?" And it's about 75% Starfield delay is worse than the Halo delay. So I thought that was interesting in the community that we do think the Starfield one is a lot worse. Now, that could be because we have very short-term memories as humans, and we don't remember how upset we were back then, and we usually think that things that are more recent affect us more. But I did think that was interesting. And because that poll was brought up, I wanted to ask the chat who has a better setup. One for KY, two for Risket, because they both look pretty damn good to me.
Oh.
Very
Mine's
cool
all
setup,
cheap.
guys.
Everything back here is like from the dollar store, man. Absolutely dollar store. I know, but the one thing I loved and super proud of is, and I managed to find is, just before I started my setup, I threw out, like accidentally, I don't know why I did it, but I threw out a Splinter Cell Conviction little thing that I had because I was like super psyched for Conviction. And then when I got Conviction, I was like, oh, this is not Splinter Cell. So I might have thrown it out because of that. But I found a Chaos Theory, a Chaos Theory. I'm super proud. I love Splinter Cell. It was like one of the best games on the original Xbox that like came out. It was one of the games that sold me. It was Abe's Odyssey and Splinter Cell were the two that I was like, oh my god, this box is amazing, and I've been here ever since. So shout out to Splinter Cell. I want that game like immediately.
Yeah.
Sorry to go off track there. Did you guys see the Dead Space artistry stuff?
Yes.
It was on last night. That looks, oh my god, that looks so. It's another one of those games that like I just super glad they're bringing back. Like Zorka and a lot of these people like don't bring back old IPs. But look, a lot of I've been saying this for a while. I've been pumping this for a while. But look, a lot of these old IPs, the younger generation hasn't actually seen, and if they can bring them like into the new generation and update them. And then I get a little bit of nostalgia, and these new kids get to see what gaming's actually all about. You know, it's not Fortnite, it's not Bugsnax. That to me is awesome.
Is this code or something?
Yeah, I have no idea. No idea.
Xbox Kawasaki? No.
I think it's a new Xbox motorcycle coming out this fall to take place in Starfield and Redfall. That's what it is. You've got the fridge, and I have the bike. Woo-ha!
Oh man, I can't believe. Yeah, I was fully shocked. We did say that some news is going to come out on Thursday. Like we were actually talking about it yesterday.
I didn't actually see the
Why
Dead
did it have
Space
to be
thing.
bad
Skip.
news?
I'll have to watch that after the show, but I did see that they had a release date, 27th of January. So really looking forward to that. And going back to what you said about Splinter Cell, mate, I do not understand why they're sitting that on that IP. You're right, mate. This is we've had a bit of a rebirth of remakes that are coming back. I just think Splinter Cell's a perfect candidate for that.
Oh yeah, they are
I
remaking
just want
one.
both. I want, the new, the older IPs for the newer generation, and I want some new IPs for us oldies.
Yeah, I don't know, but I feel like Xbox is pumped. If they got 50 plus games, not all of them can be remakes, right? So
I'm young at heart.
True.
Proud of it. Yeah,
if that's true, like.
But I do think so. I mean, why can't we have some new IPs? They got plenty of bloody studios. Like, I don't think it's acceptable that they can put their titles on another console, but they can't bring them out for the Xbox. That's just unacceptable.
I want a new Mech Warrior. Bring it back. Mech Warrior.
Well, Mech Warrior 5 just released. I mean, it wasn't fantastic. It did drop on Game Pass. I did try it out. I didn't think much of it, to be honest, and I don't think it's the game that it once was. But yeah, a refresh, a proper remake of Mech.
Was it
Mech Warrior would be
5?
awesome. It was, yeah, Mech Warrior 5. I think
did
it dropped
try it,
earlier this
I
year.
didn't fancy it. It just didn't have any appeal for me.
Yeah, me too.
But
That's
give me
it,
Dead Space.
Lupa, our opinions are just too differing.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, that's fine. Each to their own. I always say, games, like movies, food, and everything in the world is subjective. And I have no issue with other people playing games that I don't like and people playing games I do like. I don't care. I like what I like, you like what you like. It's all good in the world.
A lot of us
Yeah, absolutely.
are here to secretly change you to liking the games that we like,
I like
so that
Sorry
you
to be
play them
the
more.
game's called Mech Warrior 5, I think, mate. If that's what you're asking.
One thing definitely isn't subjective, though, Looper. That Miles Morales is a DLC. That's not subjective.
Oh no, that's a fact.
That's
That's
a
a
fact.
definite fact.
Yes.
Yeah. And God of War's
Ragnarok
not going to
apparently
be
is DLC as well.
Let's
Yeah.
not start the God of War Ragnarok being DLC. I can't be going into that. That's just nobody knows until you bloody play the game.
Yeah, look, that was a silly, a really silly argument that just blew up. I love these Twitter things that they just blow up out of absolutely nothing. I don't think the dude was saying it's going to be fully DLC. I think DLC it created a good discussion in the community there. I mean, like, is DLC dependent on size or reusing assets? Or, I mean, if you look at the Witcher DLC, that DLC was almost as big as the original game, or as big as the original game. So I mean, is that another? Yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess it's just dependent on studios and what
The
they want to
Blood
call
and
it.
Wine update, right?
Yeah, it was like 180 hours or something. I haven't played it,
Yeah,
but
that's crazy.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, and if you installed it before you ever even played The Witcher 3 at all, then it was so intertwined into the rest of the game, you never even knew it was separate.
No,
It
it's true.
was awesome.
yeah, I need to get back to it, but they just delayed that update like a month, 2 months ago. I thought it was coming, and I was waiting to go back to The Witcher because I'm about halfway through the actual original game. Loved it,
me
but
too.
I just happened to meet my missus at exactly the same time as that game came out, so I got as much in it as I could. And then I don't know, life took over, but I need to get back to it.
Hearts of
But
Stone was great as well. I mean, I think Hearts of Stone was like $30, and I think Blood and Wine was $40. This is Australian dollars, so that's incredibly cheap for DLC. I think Ubisoft constantly drop theirs at 60 now, and they're half the content that you get with both those Witcher games.
Don't get me started on Dawn of Ragnarok. Oh my God, $40 for 15 hours, 15 to 20 hours. Awesome.
Well, you weren't supposed to do it all in one day, Lupa.
Awesome game. DLC for the game and awesome new things to do in it, but it split the Assassin's Creed community so badly because, like, to pay $40 for that, if it had been at $25, it would have been fine. But $40 for that was a kick in the nuts. And most people, like, half of the community bought it, half didn't, so half don't know what's going on with it, and you can't use your abilities in that world in the England and Ireland world and Paris world, so it becomes a standalone thing that isn't, like, why wasn't the game included in the game overall? I mean, I could go on forever. I won't.
And you're a
with
massive Assassin's Creed fan, aren't you, Lupa? Like, this is
am.
coming from a place of love of the game.
It is. And it was just so bad. I mean, I bought it, obviously, pre-ordered it, bought it, but a lot of people don't want to pay 40. I mean, it's basically buying another game, and it wasn't worth it at all. But I do like the abilities in the game. They're so much fun, and don't understand why they're not in the actual game of Valhalla. Valhalla's so depressing. I literally had to leave it, go back, leave it, go back. It's just bored the hell out of me. If I have to blow up another freaking wall, I will go mental. But yeah, it's my list. I would put Odyssey at number 1, Origins at number 2 of the newer Assassin's Creeds, and then Valhalla still at number 3 for me.
Yeah,
And
we
it
spoke
divided
about
the
this when we were playing Elden
so
Ring.
badly. So
I feel exactly the same as you, mate. I put them in that same order as well. I think Riska has a different take on it, but I just didn't think Valhalla fit in the Assassin's Creed universe. He didn't deserve to learn the leap of faith. He's not an assassin. It just doesn't fit. It should have been a standalone. Viking game, but they wanted to use that IP. They wanted to use that name because that name sells games. And I think it could have been something incredibly special if they just did it on it, let it stand on its own 2 feet.
But hasn't that been Assassin's Creed thing? Is to kind of hop around with different nationalities, different backgrounds. So
yes, it is, but he's not an assassin. He's not in the Brotherhood. He doesn't actually live the creed. I mean, I'm all for going to different places in the world and experiencing different locations. I think that's one of the greatest things going for Assassin's Creed. But you have to stay faithful to the law, and what the Vikings are doing is completely at odds with the creed itself.
The creed is supposed to only kill people when necessary.
Yes.
Not kill them randomly by going on raids and stuff. And
exactly.
It's just so far away from the original that it's, to me, a joke. And it's just a sad state of affairs. And then they take DLC that was roadmap for season 2 of Valhalla, and they turn it into a standalone game called Rift, which is Basim's story, and that should have been. We've got nothing. All they've done is given us an update and a second mastery tier to do. And it's like, what? Oh,
look,
my
Assassin's
God.
Creed Valhalla was probably the best Assassin's Creed game they've ever made. 110%. You can't look. All these purists like it's not really Assassin's Creed, and the story, and
I'm
oh my
telling
God,
you, the community is split down the middle about it.
I love it. I love Assassin's Creed. I love what they've done with it. You're right. They definitely stepped away from the story. I get that, but I mean, you just got with that game. You just got to enjoy it for what it is, and I think you did, Looper. You obviously liked it, but
I like the Assassin's Creed. I don't go on about this, it should be Assassin's Creed like the originals and blah, blah, blah. No. If they hadn't changed the format of Assassin's Creed to this new trilogy they've done, Odyssey, Origins, Valhalla, it would have died. It would have died out.
She's got a point.
So I do believe it should have changed. I do like the Odyssey format. I don't know why they changed it again for Valhalla. That's all. I don't know why they did that, because it's just split the community down the middle. It's not what we wanted. If it had stuck to the Odyssey format, it would have been fine. But they changed it again, and I don't
you
know
put that
why.
on screen.
And now Infinite is going to divide the community again, because
that is it.
Infinite free to play.
Sorry, Looper, keep going.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to say KY invited us late onto the show. Powerman can't be here, unfortunately. I know there's a lot of people here because he's got rushed to hospital. Everyone that's here, this is KY Bob's brand new show. He's moved away from XBL and he started his own thing, Game Set Live, with Assassin and Powerman. Please hit that like and subscribe and support the community by supporting him.
Well, thank you, Peter. And again, I want to extend my appreciation for you and Risk It coming on such short notice. It was amazing to have you all here tonight. It really was. You've added so much great talk to what may have just been a bunch of co-hosts griping about game delays all night long, which we were prepared to do. We were totally prepared to do that.
We were going to go there, but I wasn't happy about it.
But what you said about it, what you were saying about it's 110% correct. I just disagree with the timing. Like, the timing is fucking bad, man. Like, who thought that was a good idea? I mean, like, you're right, though. They probably didn't know about it a month before. Like, but why did they not know this? And why did they not announce it before announcing the showcase? Like, I mean, I can't
you get rid of all the bad, information, and then when the showcase gets to go live, you can just be positive from then on. How else would you have done it, Risk It, if you weren't going to announce it?
No, announce it before announcing the showcase. So you go negative and then throw a positive. So you go, hey, Starfield and Redfall aren't coming. That sucks. And then a week later you go, hey, check it out. We get a showcase. Everyone's like, yeah.
But what about if they didn't know? That's the point. They didn't
They
know
obviously
it was
didn't. If they
like
did
they
know, it
put
was...
out the show and then they didn't know that was going to happen. So then they, at least I love their transparency. At least
How do
they're
you not know,
telling
though?
us what's happening.
Didn't
How do
know.
you
Aren't
not
they
know?
all under the same roof? I mean,
No,
that's
because they're
the
in a
umbrella
different
now,
part of
right?
America, right? No, but I mean, they didn't know. Like, I don't think Xbox per se, Phil Spencer knew that Starfield wasn't going to make it until he was told.
Yeah, but how, again, okay, so let's say they didn't know, then it's not fair enough, but it's fair enough, right? But like, I don't know, whoever, if they did know and someone made the decision to do it in this order, that's fucking terrible. I don't know, Aaron, if you're listening, it's a bad move. I love you, but but yeah, I don't
I
know.
think
It sucked the
that
excitement out of the game.
you have to applaud their transparency. I don't know when the last time PlayStation told you anything, about what was happening with their games.
What do you mean? They've got heaps of games coming out. We've got
Yeah,
release
but
dates
they
for
haven't
nothing.
talked to you and told you what's what. PlayStation don't involve their community. At least Xbox is telling you the facts as they happen.
Have you seen the PlayStation community? They're nuts. I'd be scared of them
Yeah, I
too.
know.
Psycho.
Yeah, that upfront nature of Xbox is something that has shifted under Phil Spencer's leadership. I think it is the right direction. You're 100% right, Assassin. They do it in a bad way, and when bad news is there, they'll just tell us it hasn't gone down well. Let's
Well,
face it. There's
maybe
been a
they treat
lot
us
of
like adults instead of children, which is a good
well, the
thing, right?
problem
They don't
is a lot of
expect you
gamers
to.
don't act like adults. They
Exactly,
act
they
like
expect you
children.
to understand, and some of them are so childish they can't see past their own noses. At the end of the day, things happen in the real world, and things, have to change, and so it has to change. At the end of the day, what would you rather, that they kept it quiet until 11:11 and then said sorry, it ain't coming?
Yes.
Come on, there would have been
No,
That's
but
more
interesting.
outrage.
if I were them, they had to announce Redfall. They had to announce Redfall 110%. I wouldn't have said anything at the showcase. I wouldn't have said anything before the showcase. I would have waited at least a month, right? So I would have said, like, hey, Redfall's not coming. Everyone's like, yeah, we don't really care. Have the showcase. Give it like maybe 3 months, 2.5 months. And then I'd be like, oh, shit, we had some problems. Starfield's not coming. But hey, you've got some third-party games to play. I don't know, like the way that they've done it's just not. It's bad.
No, I mean, they
It's
need to
very
learn,
bad.
but at least Phil Spencer, being a gamer, understands how we think and he understands what we want, and he's given us that the majority of the time. Sometimes things, even as a boss, are out of your control. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. It's real.
Look,
It happens.
I blame Bonnie Ross still. This has definitely got something
Yeah.
to do with Bonnie Ross. I don't know
It's
what
Bonnie
the hell.
Ross's fault, Halo shit. Yeah, we all know.
110%. Like she's
I
got
don't
something to
think
do
it
with
can.
She's
this.
too nice.
I don't think it's on anybody's head when things like that happen. I think it's just the way of things, and I just like to be. I hate to be glass half empty sort of person. I'm a glass half full person. If it's not coming now, just imagine how freaking much better it's going to be when it does drop.
It better be
I hope so.
amazing.
I
Of
hope so,
course
Luke.
it
I
will.
really do.
It will. Why won't it be? They've got an extra year. Well, I think probably like November, December, January, February, March. I reckon about 5, maybe 6 months at a push, and they will have it, ready. And I think, people are going to be happy with it. And like I've said before, everybody will forget this delay ever happened eventually. It's just one of those things. Life goes on. It's not. We're not going to die because one or two games aren't coming out that we really wanted. I really, really Fallen Jedi Order Fallen thingy. like,
Yeah, Jedi
no,
Fallen Order,
Jedi
or,
Fallen
or
Order
Star Wars
was,
Survivor, I think it's
yeah.
called now.
It,
Yeah.
it was an awesome game. And people just went past it and didn't think about it, but it was a really good game. I completed it on release. I loved it. I know others did. People I
Should have won Game of
respect
the Year.
really did. Yeah, should have.
Should
And
have.
people really loved it. And I think that I was really looking forward to this new Jedi Survival, and it's been delayed. Am I upset? Slightly disappointed. but it isn't going to change the fact that I'm still going to play my other games, and I've got loads coming that I want to play. So actually it's quite good because not so much is coming in such a small space where I can't get it all in, and I'm jumping from game to game and don't know where I am and what the hell I'm doing. So
Well, again, Bonnie Ross has probably got something to do with that too. So
yeah,
if anyone out there
probably.
can fire Bonnie Ross, please.
All right.
Sarah Bond is going to take over Phil's job one day. Wait and see.
Yeah, I
is
hope.
the,
I think
the
so. I
message
think
I
you're
hope
setting
it
her up for
does.
that, but I hope not.
Oh,
I hope
Sarah!
she
I
does.
love Sarah. She's great.
Yes,
Yeah,
Sarah
Yeah,
Bond
but
she's
that means
good.
Phil losing his job. You know,
Yeah,
like
but-
although she's great, I think Phil should stay in the job for as long as
Yeah.
he wants it.
Hang on.
He
Do you
will stay in
reckon?
the
Do you
job.
reckon that Phil will be like Luke from the final Star Wars movie there in the series?
The Last
And then
Jedi,
just,
where
like-
they turn him
just,
into a
like,
hermit.
disappear and like all of his clothes, like his t-shirt and his like crazy denim wash jeans and that leather jacket will just like sink to the ground or whatever. And he'll be like pass the torch. That'd be
I want
cool.
people-
That's the only way Phil could leave. It needs to be theatrical.
On stage at E3. Yes.
No,
Definitely.
I
Make it
think
happen.
he needs to stay in the job as long as possible, but I also think that he is training up Sarah Bond to take his place, so she will have the same ideology as him.
Yeah,
And
you can
what
see the
if-
transition happening,
Yeah,
can't you?
you can,
yeah, you
easily.
really can. Yep. She's
What
been
if,
much
hang on,
more
Pete.
out there in the community.
Hang on, Pete. You actually had a bit of a problem with Sarah Bond, and I fully agreed with you in that last presentation they did. Bill said absolutely everything off the cuff, off the top of his head, as he does. He's pretty good. And Sarah was reading a teleprompter, and you didn't really appreciate that. And to be honest, it didn't feel genuine. So I don't know.
No,
maybe
One of the
Bonnie
great
Ross
the only
things
problem
about
I
Phil
have with her, she
Spencer
needs
is
to be-
he is a genuine man, and he does
Yeah.
talk from the heart, and he talks
He
from a
does.
place of true love for the actual industry. He doesn't want anything bad for the industry, and he's just so incredibly good at it. When you hear him talk, you believe him because you see him playing games every day.
Yeah,
you
I
see
do.
him. He's on there every single day playing Xbox.
Last
he's
couple
just
of days
like
he's been
us.
playing Elden Ring. And
Yep,
the way I look at it is that she just needs to grow into the position, and she's learning. Give her a break. The only thing I don't like about her is the way her hands go when she's talking. It's like.
But Phil always
know.
was able to talk off the top of his head because he
Yeah.
has such a deep passion and love of the industry. Her
That's
reading off a
because he's a
teleprompter
hardcore
just
gamer,
feels
though,
disingenuous.
Jeds.
Yes, but then why wouldn't you replace Phil with a gamer? She just feels disingenuous to me. Like she doesn't seem sincere.
Yeah,
Michael
I
Pico
get
Trek,
it, but
sorry,
she's
just in the
still
chat
young
there.
and she's learning. Give the girl a break. She will get there. I think that
Let's go.
she does play games. From what I've seen, she does play games, and I think she's a nice person. I just think
Oh, yeah, I
some
agree.
people can it's like podcasts, isn't it? We can talk on here. You don't get to see my ugly gob. You lot are all brash enough to be on camera. I'm not. At the end of the day, two different styles. Yeah, we're different. So what I'm saying is that, her and Phil Spencer are different, but I'm sure she will learn. It's like holding a meeting at a business thing, isn't it? Where you've got to stand up and speak. Some people just can't do it. They just can't stand in front of people and talk. They find it difficult. So the more she does it, the better she'll get. That's what I'm saying.
A lot of people find the courage to do that when they're put in a position of power.
True, but some don't.
This
Some
is
just
true.
fall
You either
apart
got it or
and
you don't.
They get nerves. Yeah, exactly. You've either got the ability to be able to do that, or you haven't. She is definitely his understudy, and he's teaching her. And I think the more she does it, the more she will get used to it, and she will understand where it goes. And I think she will be okay. A lot of men, in my opinion, put her down because she's a woman. Again, I've been through that. It's no fun.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
You
I'm not
see-
putting her
see a
down
lot of
because
them,
she's
they
a
do.
woman.
No,
I was
no, I'm
putting her
not
down
saying that.
simply because she was reading off a teleprompter and seemed disingenuous to me.
Yeah.
That's
Fine.
the only reason.
Give her a break and let her learn. Let her get
So
used to
Michael
it.
in the chat, I just want to highlight Michael's two comments because they're hilarious. He's like, just finished putting my Xbox in the street and lighting it on fire. He's like, my exhaust pipe now has a fancy green grill. It has no games. Oh, bro, that's absolutely that's hilarious. I don't put Sarah Bond down at all. I agree with Pete's take on reading off the teleprompter was a little bit off. It just felt a little bit off.
Yeah.
Just that whole thing actually felt a little bit off with her.
It was contrived, wasn't it, mate?
But
maybe
let's say
it's because of Phil. Phil's so natural all the time,
Yeah.
and it's a bit of a hard. Like I kind of agree with what you're saying. It's a hard level to step up to because I mean, look at Jim Ryan. Like he speaks off the teleprompter and just says some of the dumbest shit you've ever heard. So I mean, I guess that would
lying lips, Ryan.
Incredibly hard shoes to fill. Phil is seen as a pillar. He's as a god in our community from what he's able to do and the turnaround he's done in such a short amount of time with Xbox. Yeah, how are you meant to fill those shoes? Incredibly difficult. I just hope he's not being pushed out. I know that Microsoft as a company don't like a person to be in a position for too long. They like, that turnover to happen. So new ideas and new thoughts are brought into the forefront. I just hope that they're not doing that with Phil because he doesn't deserve it.
Imagine the backlash that'll never happen. Like he leaves when he wants to leave, but that might be Pete why they. I mean, obviously because he's done a good job, but they have promoted him into a new position. So a lot of those companies and I'm not working at the moment because I'm off on compo. But when I was working in those larger companies, they like to move people around so that they can keep things fresh or whatever. But for the ones that are really, really good, there's always a little bit of special treatment. So he'll probably just get repositioned into a different title, but still have his finger in that pie. I reckon. I can't see him being pushed out. I think that all of us in the Xbox community would just they wouldn't be They would be able to do it. Everyone would just kick up. Be like, not my Philus Aurelius Maximus.
Coined by you, mate. Coined by you.
All right. Well, I think that's a wrap, guys.
That's
going to call it. That's a wrap. We have had a great episode. Thank you again to Risk It for the biscuit. Love the name, dude. Love it. Jedi Knight Peter. Whenever I say your name, I think of Family Guy and Peter dressed up as a stormtrooper. I don't know why.
I'm going straight to the art after this. I'll be making something
up. But we will go around our panel and so everybody gets to know everybody, find out where you can find all these great people, and come back to me for closing. Risk It for the biscuit. Man, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter, warring with usually at least 1,000 fanboys coming at me from all directions. At Risk It 4TB, I think it is. They couldn't take all the characters; they couldn't handle me. And you can find me on Xbox at the same Risk It 4TB. You can find me on PlayStation very rarely at Risk It 4TB, and you can find me on YouTube where we do a podcast for Xbox Infinite, which Pete's a panel member. They're every Friday, 8 p.m. EST in the US, and in Australia, 10 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, Australia. I said Australia twice. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, I'll be playing, I'll definitely be playing a lot more Alan Wake and finishing off Trek to Yumi as well. But yeah, please come and check out our show. It's okay.
Okay. Now, this man has... I was on his show a couple weeks ago, and beautiful production values on this show. He is not giving himself enough credit. Check it out. Jedi Knight Peter, where can people find you at, brother?
Look, I'll reiterate. I am a panel member on Xbox Infinite. We will be on tomorrow, 10 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time for all you guys in the States. You can find me on Twitter at Jedi Knight Peter. You can find me on Xbox at Jedi Knight Peter. I'm usually playing Halo, but I'll be jumping into Trek to Yomi. We also have Community Game Night tonight. I'm not sure what we're playing. I think it's either going to be Battlefield, Halo, Wreckfest. But please join us. That's in about 7 hours' time if anyone wants to jump
Battlefield. What?
Yeah, I think someone mentioned Battlefield 1. I don't know who it was. They put it in the CGN chat.
But Halo killed Battlefield.
Well, not Battlefield 2042. We're actually going back to Battlefield 1 if we do it.
Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And thank you to the chat. You guys are awesome. And thanks for the invite, KY, mate. I know it was short notice, but we had a good time, mate.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you too.
Yeah.
Blast.
Yeah, I'll back that up. Thanks for having me on the show, man. I'm still kind of half asleep as well. So I appreciate the invite. It's awesome to be here on your second show. It's been a great show, man. I really appreciate the invite. And Assassin Looper, you're always awesome. So you're like the Xbox mum of the community.
The mom. I love it. All right, Xbox mom, take it away. Where can we find you?
She's out. She left.
Out.
She thought it was over.
No. Lupa, you're muted.
I'm still here. I would just like to say thank you very much to Risk It for the Biscuit and Jedi Knight Peter for dropping in. It's been great to have you here. We've had great discussions. Thank you very much to chat. You've been awesome. Without you, we wouldn't be doing this. We're just chatting into our mics to ourselves. So I appreciate you all. And you can find me here on Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, 2 a.m. UK time. With Game Set Live with KY Bob, my co-host, and Powerman 4K. And you can find me on Xbox Ultimate on Friday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, 2 a.m. UK time with my family, the Xbox Ultimate crew. You can also find me on Sundays at 9 a.m. in the morning and 2 a.m. PM UK time on Sundays with Good Morning Xbox with the crew over there. And you can find me at Assassin Looper on Twitter and on Xbox Party Live, where I'll game up and play with anyone. So I'll catch you all gaming till next week, guys. Thank you very much. See you all soon.
And I think Xbox Mom is really starting to catch fire. You're going to have to change your gamer tag, Lupa.
No thanks.
Oh. And as always, this is your host, KY Bob. You can find me Xbox, PlayStation, Twitter, YouTube. The host here every Thursday night. It was great to see all of you. It was great to be seen. Thank you for telling a friend, and I'll see you next week. Good night, everybody.